Hello, everybody. This week we are in Sarasota, Florida, with Will Mead from Sharko's Tactical. We came down here to install a few lasers for him, and he gave us a chance to sit down and interview him. So, without further ado, Will, welcome.
How you doing, Fred?
Good, man.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having us. So, Will, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little background, where you came from, and what led to you opening this store, and where you are today, which is pretty amazing. You'll see that later, but it's pretty big business. So.
I started Sharko's out of my house in 2011. I wanted to create something that was kind of like the X Games, but a gun shop, kind of rolled into one. I was a skateboarder, and at the time there wasn't like a lot of fun gun shops. There wasn't a lot of fun at gun shows. Like everybody that you would meet at a gun store or a gun shop was stuffy and
Black
cantankerous.
guns, and that's it.
Yeah, it was just people they weren't, they were dicks. So I, created a website, worked out of my house. I worked a 9-to-5 job as a sales manager for a sign company for about 18 months. And I would work the sign company during the day, and then I would start building ARs and guns on Wednesday, and then I'd go to the gun show on Friday. I'd work all weekend, and then I would get to back to work on Monday. I did that for 18 months, and then I opened up a shop and continued doing gun shows. Built the shop. The shop was a little small, 800 square foot unit the first time we opened. Then I did gun shows until about 2018, which I think was 6 years. I would do 42 of them a year, every weekend. Go. And then in 2018, I think, maybe 2017, I saw a video of Dark Alliance, and I saw one of the first videos of like a laser working on a Glock. And I said, what is that? I said, whoa, my God, what is that? So I saw that, and I decided, like that day, I'm not gonna do gun shows ever again. So I went home, I wrote a business plan. I called up a competitor of yours, said, what is this laser stuff? And they're like, oh yeah, it's a, yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, and they're like, it can
do everything.
It can do everything. It can do everything. I asked them if it could do slide cuts. I asked them if.
And they said yes?
And they said yes. Yeah, they said yeah. They said it can do slide cuts. It can do this and do that. So I wrote a business plan and then figured out they were lying about the slide cut thing.
Sure.
And so I said, I'm going to buy a CNC. I'm going to buy a laser. And then I drove. Maybe a week later, I drove to the place. I bought the laser. I bought the CNC machine. I didn't know how to work them. And then me and my wife got the laser at the shop. We just decided to try to figure it out. We almost got divorced.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, we almost got divorced. Like we sat there for 2 months trying to figure out how to just do a clean engraving on a lower. Then we found out who you guys were, and didn't know that there was training. Didn't know that.
Well, you guys were one of our earliest clients.
Yeah, we were, but it's like your advertising at the time. Like it wasn't really.
I was strictly organic. It was
this
is our work. That's it.
Yeah, he didn't, and then I called one day and said, hey, can we? Because you guys we could do some stuff, but you guys could do things we couldn't do.
Right.
And there were certain things that you guys had known how to do, and I was like, how do you do that?
Right.
How do you do that? I don't know much about what the laser does and how it does, but I know what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
I know what it's supposed to look like. I know what I knew what I was seeing. I knew the work that you guys were doing, and I knew what I was seeing. And I'm like, how do we fucking learn how to do that? How do we get that? So I called up you guys, and I asked just to buy a laser, because the first laser we bought was grossly overpriced. We got really bad training. Like the training was $4,000. It was $4,000 added to the price for 2 days, and the person admittedly telling my wife that they really didn't know what was going on. Like they didn't know how to do Glocks. They didn't know how to do anything basically.
Right.
And so like 2 months go by, and we had our first video go viral. Like we did a Joker Glock. It went viral.
Right.
And we got okay at it, but still, like, you guys knew how to do things that we didn't know how to do. So we called up Melissa, your wife, and she's like, yeah. And then at the time it was, a lot of money for us to do. Like it was a lot of money, and it was everything we had. Like it was like between buying the CNC, between buying the first laser and then buying the second laser, and paying to go out there to take time off. It was a lot of money at the time, but we did it, and it changed everything.
Oh yeah.
Changed everything. Immediately when we first bought the laser, even the first but from the competitor, immediately when we did it, we sat and tried to learn everything, and the first thing that we did was every piece of content that we made, good or bad, I was there filming it and throwing it on the internet immediately. Like every bit of content, whether it was a silly Punisher engraving to like a cat, to like the dumbest of magazines, but immediately like we were putting, because I heard about content marketing. I heard about what content marketing was, and how like you just like attention. Like you throw something that has attention every day, multiple times a day onto the net, and the laser was just worth its weight in gold, because whatever content it created, you could put it on the net, and it would just produce. And immediately we were booked. Before, like right when we figured out how to do the laser, before we even knew how to do the laser, like people were coming to us saying, can you do starburst on a Glock 34? Can you do this? And immediately, like we were fucking up Glocks like left and right. Like we probably had $10,000 worth of broken guns from not knowing exactly what to do. Yeah. Like from the guy who came by and said, "Hey, I know how to work a CNC machine." Breaking slides, cutting slides, effing stuff up. Like we replaced probably $10,000 worth of guns in quickly. But I can't tell you the value that it brought to our business, and it brought us to where we are today.
And today you have lost count, but you just got 10 more today, so that puts you at 20.
We did. So we've got 26
lasers.
26 lasers, I think.
And they're working almost 24/7.
Yeah, we have. So today, so we started out with one laser from a company I won't, but I don't recommend them at all, and they're like the premier. Right. And I do not recommend them. Anyway, but we started out with one of those. And then we quickly got one of yours, and then we got another one of yours. But right now and at the time we had maybe 4 employees. Mm-hmm. Right now we have 45 employees. We have 26 lasers, something like that. Right. 3 CNC machines, a paint room.
Not bad in 4 years' time.
Not bad in 4 years, no. Not bad. Not bad.
And I mean, Lorrie was telling me, so I already know the answer, but just to give you some idea, just to put things in perspective, I mean, we're sitting, in front of this wall of boxes, but on an average, you carry anywhere from 2,300 to 5,000 guns?
We do a lot. Like, we're big volume. We do an incredible amount of sales. How many? I don't even know.
No.
I don't know.
But it's big. It doesn't have to be an exact number, but just to put things in perspective, when Will does stuff, it's by the pallet. It's not by the gun. It really is. I mean, the shop is full of pallets of guns waiting to be laser engraved.
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of business. We produce big numbers every week. We have contracts. We have like we're booked out solid with custom guns. Probably 9 to 12 week wait time on everybody. Like it's huge. Probably 100 people. We have thousands of contracts of different companies. You know, doing different things. Glocks, 1911s, ARs. You know, cerakote's a big part of what we do. We also learn that. We also learn that over where you guys.
Yeah, with Terra and Able, which are in the same complex.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that we were doing fine laser engraving, you know, with the laser that we had. But when we went to sales, it brought our game so much higher. For a couple of reasons. Like the big thing was it became like you guys were no longer like competitors in another state who weren't approachable. You now became colleagues, which is there's an intrinsic value like in enabling us to call you up, say, hey, what do you think of this? Hey, what do you think of that? Hey, how did you do this? And becoming, you know, not becoming a part of the family.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what.
And we refer to our customers as family.
It's family. So
very
it's
often, yeah.
But that was, you know, and we wouldn't have gotten that. Like you can buy a laser, you know, you can buy a shitty laser from, you know, Alibaba and try to figure it out on your own and steal designs from the net from people giving away for free, but you don't learn what you can learn in the sales training environment unless you go to sales.
No, I appreciate that, but that's very true. Well, I thank you for those kind words. On the subject of how incredibly successful you've become in such a short amount of time, is that without giving away secrets, could you give some advice to somebody that's maybe a small shop like you were 5-6 years ago, and that's trying to grow? What's worked for you? What has enabled you to take it to that next level? Was it reaching out, trying to get contracts? Was it educating yourself, laser, cerakote? I mean, I know you're an animal. You're extremely passionate about your business, and you're not afraid to talk to people about business and solicit. You know, not everybody has. Some people are a little shy about that. Do you think that has a lot to do with it?
You know, I don't know. I know that when I started, like when I was started Sharko, I was rolling my own cigarettes, and like I was rolling my own cigarettes because I don't smoke. I smoke vape now, but I was rolling my own cigarettes, and I would get a paycheck every 2 weeks, and I would take a certain amount of that money from the paycheck and buy pre-rolled cigarettes, and that was my allotment. Like that's how poor I was. Like I couldn't afford. Like it was $22 for a carton of pre-rolled cigarettes that you had to go to a special place to do. I used to eat $5 chicken from Sam's. Like you would go to Sam's, I'd buy a chicken.
Pre-roasted ones?
Yeah, and I would eat that thing for 3 days. They're good. They're good to this
Really
day.
good.
Like I would eat it, I would chop it in half, I would eat some of it, I would give the dogs the bones, I would pour like the guts and shit over the bones for the dogs. And that's what I was. Yeah, I was poor. And I grew up poor, and I didn't want to be poor anymore. You know what I mean? And we had, you know, experience, moderate success. You know, I was able to feed my family. I was able to, not buy pre-rolled cigarettes anymore. You know, I could afford, and I got to the point where I could afford lunch, and that was good. But like, I didn't want to be poor ever again. So I kept going and going and going and going, and then knowing that if I just work hard enough, I won't be poor. And it's a pretty big motivator. What I can tell you is, so as far as laser is concerned, like for someone who's starting out with laser, like you've got to find your own niche.
Yes.
Like you've got to find your own niche and
your style too.
You got to find your own style. You got to find your own niche. Whether it's theme guns, whether it's and a big thing you've got to learn too is you got to learn cerakote.
Right.
You got to have. Well, no. First thing
you
you got to
have to. You have to have both.
Got to have both. Like you've got to learn. First off, you got to have the right license. You got to have an 07.
Yeah.
Like, you can't mess around and try to do it without an 07. You can, I mean, you can. Don't mess
Technically
around.
you can, but
Don't poke the bear.
it's going to limit you in what you can
It's going
do.
to limit you in what you can do. If you really want to kick ass, you need an 07. And then if somebody says, "Well, my place doesn't have the ability to have a 07," then go find another place.
Yeah. No,
You got to
you're
do
right.
what you got to do whatever it takes to succeed. But so you have to do whatever it takes. Like if you can't, like if you don't have the room to cerakote, you got to find more room. If you don't know how to cerakote, you got to find somebody to help you cerakote. If you can't cerakote in the building, if you can't have an 07, you got to go find a building where you can have an 07. Like, you can't have an excuse. If you have an excuse, then you're just gonna fucking fail. But as far as people starting with lasers, and then I've seen forums where people are a lot of people complain they don't know how to make money, and you see these huge forums, and all it is people from all over the world. I don't know how to make any money. I don't know how to make any money. Like, shut up! Like, that thing will print money. Lasers will print money.
That's true.
I mean, it's just like whether it's...
There's no consumables attached to it. I mean, once you pay for the laser, there's no cost associated with running it.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's even if you think of the business model where someone is bringing you, like, say if you're working on their gun, right? And if you know how to laser and you know how to cerakote, you will always be busy if you're decent at it.
Absolutely.
And if you want to get decent at it, you just need training. You just need someone to train you how to do a laser. You need someone how to train you how to do cerakote. Once you have those two things, like, it's almost like you now know how to play in a rock band.
Right.
If you're not, like, if you're in a band, and you know how to play covers, and you're good enough at a band, you will never go poor, because you know how to play covers in a bar. It's the same thing with knowing how to do cerakote, knowing how to do laser. If you know how to do those two things, you will never be poor again. You will always have work, because there's always somebody who needs their gun painted. There's always somebody who needs laser engraving, and that's just guns. There's cups, keys, metal,
motorcycle parts.
Like, it's unlimited. The only way it's limited is by your imagination. Like,
right.
It has.
And I think that's what people like sometimes. Like, we see people that are not quite as successful, and like when I look at you, I look at Tyler. Those are guys that are incredibly motivated and that are extremely successful. But that's that hustle. You gotta have that hustle. And
you have a hustle.
Yeah.
But so what I would recommend, like, number one, like first off, you gotta look at, like, the gun shows. You gotta look at, like, okay, so who's lasering at the gun show? And if there's two people who are lasering at the gun shows, it's okay. Are they good? What are they offering what are they not offering that you can offer? Like, are they sales trained? If they're sales trained already, like, that's it. But if chances are they're not, then why don't you go fill that market up? And then once you have enough clients, work out of your shop. Like, I can't express that. Like, once you have the basics down, like your income can pretty much be unlimited. You go from custom projects, you can limit out on that and make as much money as you possibly can handle. And then if you ever cap out, you hire people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which, by the way, you have now 46 employees?
Like 46, yeah.
Yeah, and you started 4 years ago. You had how many?
I had 4.
That's pretty good.
I had 4, but and then that's another thing too. Like, people always think, like, I can't afford to.
You can't afford not to.
I can't afford to pay this guy $20 an hour. I can't afford to pay this guy $18 an hour. I can't afford to have 2 employees. Like, oh my God, now I have 10. Now I've got to get insurance for them. No, as long as you find, like, the right person, they will help you make more money, and it's imperative for people to, if they want to make more, that's where they got to go.
I would have to say, on my personal experience, when our business really started skyrocketing is when we fought that, that fear, like, we can't afford it. And then when we finally, took that chance, you can't afford not to do it.
Right.
You really can't. Like, you can't do it on your own. And bring an employee, 2 employees, 3 employees, you're doubling, tripling your output.
Right.
And your expenses are not growing, your building is still the same, So yeah, that's the only way we were able to finally, take off and grow to the level where we have, and you the same. Is that was the first initial step, was getting over that fear, like we can't afford it, and taking that chance and investing in people.
Right.
For us, it was big, and I know for you it was too.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, payroll's hard, but you just got to get over that fear.
You want to talk about the future and what your plans are for the future? With
I mean, I
Sharko?
just want to I definitely want to say, the importance of buying, all right, so say if you're going to get into the laser game, there's you can either buy a laser you can import a laser from China.
Sure. Yeah.
You can buy from the 50 million different people that have them for sale. You can buy from you. You can buy from the way overpriced American companies that say they're American-made lasers, and they're not. They're not. You know what I mean?
All the internals are Chinese.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there's really nothing wrong with it. Trust me.
Nothing wrong with that.
If we could order American parts, we would. It's just there's nobody that really manufactures laser sources or controllers in the United States for it, except one company which sells their own laser and therefore doesn't sell to anyone else. But if your expectations are set extremely high and you set the standards just like Vortex does,
Yeah.
they're extremely successful, but they are, very high standards as far as what they demand from their manufacturers. And that's what we do too. So, I mean, our machines are not extraordinarily more complex or better than others. It's just solid, solid components that we make sure are put together correctly. But the value really is in the training.
I have a ridiculously expensive laser. I've got
Which was what, like
which is
30 grand, 40 grand?
No, it was like 50, 60. It was $50,000-$60,000 when we first bought it.
Okay.
$50,000-$60,000. That guy saw us coming and took us. But that's okay. So I've got a ridiculously expensive laser. I've got the laser we bought from you. I've got 3 or 4 that I bought secondhand from people.
That are ours also. Yeah.
That are yours. I've got Wisely lasers. I've got lasers that I've imported from China. I've got lasers that I bought from other people that are doing what you do. And I can tell you that of every laser that I bought, that the laser that you guys provide is the best without a doubt. And if I would have just stood fast and said I would just buy sales, like once I bought the first one and said, okay, no, like I'm not gonna try to save a couple thousand here. I'm not gonna try to but at the time, like I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
But if I would have just, kicked myself in the shin and said, hey, buy Fred's laser. Don't fuck around with these other people. Buy his laser. It would have saved me so much time, effort, and energy, and I'd be making a lot more money. Like the laser that you guys provide and the service that you provide is without a doubt the best one to buy in country right now. There's not another laser out there. Like there's all these ones that cost a shitload of more money. They don't teach you how to use it. There's no support system in place. And at the end of the day, like what you're going to be doing with your laser is without a doubt, like the sales laser is the laser to get. And if anybody wants more information on that, they can DM me directly on any one of the social media platforms,
Wow.
and I'll be happy to tell them.
Thank you. That's very nice
Absolutely.
of you. So tell me, what's next for Sharko? What's your plans? I mean, you've come so quickly in 4 years. Like, what's it gonna look like 4 years from now?
On my boat, fishing, running away.
Nice.
No, so we just bought a facility across the street from us. It's 7,500 square feet.
Yeah.
It's probably too small, but we're going to move all of our production over there, and we're going to double or triple our output every month or every week. Like right now, we're producing a tremendous amount of guns every week, going to multiple distributors. We do Glocks, we do ARs.
Can you give us an idea of how much roughly? It doesn't have to be an exact number.
No.
I
don't want to tell you. No, I don't want to tell you how
It's a
many
lot.
we do. No, but we do a lot. Like we do, and everybody carries our stuff. Like Palmetto has our stuff. Grab a Gun, Big Daddies. Everybody, a lot of people carry our stuff, and the numbers are huge. But so like we want to double the amount of production by 2 months after we move in, which probably was going to be by December.
Okay.
So we want to do that. We want to do that for What we really want to do though is we want to get to the point where we're making our own stuff, like where we're not, instead of us throwing out X amount of guns for a distributor, we want to be making X amount of guns and then selling them to who we want.
Sure.
To we want to get away, like we want to become not just a customizer but a manufacturer completely.
And go straight to you guys instead of
And people come straight to us and buy from us, like
cutting out the middleman.
cutting out the middleman. Like we'd like to do that. Like we'd like to get there in a couple years.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Will, thank you so much, for receiving us here and your hospitality. And it's great to see you and Lorrie. We always enjoy it. And Sarasota is beautiful. And thank you for watching, guys.
Yeah, buy a sale.